WBRC Fox 6 Law Call.
And welcome back into Law Call tonight. Again, so glad that you're staying up late with us, talking about what your boss can and cannot do. So employment law tonight, both on the federal and state side, there are some questions that you might have. So give us a call. Fonteneau with us tonight, and so an expert in this area. So we'd love to hear from you. And in fact, we have Keitha here in Birmingham that's been holding patiently for us. Keitha, we really appreciate that. How are you this evening?
I'm good. It's Lakeisha. I'm sorry.
Lakeisha, no, my apologies to you. So please forgive me for that. Names are very important, so thank you so much for correcting me. Lakeisha, if you will, please go ahead with your question for Kyra.
Okay, I was working for an employee. I had a set schedule, which was Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. Unfortunately, one of our workers didn't show up, so I decided I wanted to work over until someone come in. The manager didn't know that the person wasn't there because I stayed on the clock. I actually completed the job. And I got off later that Friday night. So when I got home late, I got a text probably about 1 in the morning, which I didn't see until the next day, which I was off that Saturday. And he texted me, asked me, did I mind coming in the next day? Because unfortunately that person was unable to come in again. And I said, yeah, but today is my off day, but I would definitely come in. What time should we see you? I said, give me about 12:30. I'll be there because due to I worked late last night. Well, I got there about 7 minutes late on my off day, which I was not scheduled. And when I got there, he fired me for being late. Is that possible?
Wow.
Unfortunately, yes, it is. So in Alabama, we are what's called an at-will state, which means they can fire you for a good reason, a bad reason, or no reason at all. And even an arbitrary reason can be a legal reason to fire people. But that doesn't mean that all terminations are legal. So if you were treated differently than other people who were 7 minutes late, who are in a different protected class, that could be discrimination. So you have to have one more step further to find out how they apply that late tardy rule against different people of different classes. And you see if men are 7 minutes late and don't get fired, then you might have a claim.
So a couple of questions based on her call. First of all, you said an arbitrary reason. I'm going to ask you to tell me what that is. And then I would imagine that Lakeisha's thoughts are, but I helped this company out the day before. I mean, I stayed after and I was off late. And
yes, it
but
does
it's still,
seem unfair.
Yes.
It's absolutely unfair. And it
Yeah.
does appear that this is not a good idea, right? This is not how you should treat your employees.
Yes.
But in Alabama, we don't have a lot of laws protecting employees. Most of our laws come from federal law, and federal law only makes sure that they pay you when they're supposed to pay you and that they don't treat you differently than people who are outside your protected class. So to the extent that they're saying things that they're firing you for reasons that are just bad business, they're allowed to do that. And in fact, there's case law that says the courts aren't going to be a super personnel board that overlooks the shoulders of businesses. Now, if that's not something that feels comfortable, that's something we have to legislate in order to fix.
And when you said an arbitrary reason, forgive my ignorance on that, when you say that, what do you mean by that?
Just made up that day. Just
Okay.
came in one day on the wrong side, walking on the wrong side of the street and decided to fire people. They can do that. The common thing that people say is, we can fire you because I don't like your shirt. And that is something that an employer can do, even if it is a bad business decision.
Would you still recommend that she give a call just to kind of walk through some things? And it sounds like also she still has coworkers who may be able to kind of watch out and see, are you noticing differences?
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's always, it's not just the unfairness of the decision, it's whether or not it was inconsistently applied. And so if you can identify a person, if you're over 40, if you can identify a person who was under 40, more than 4 years younger than you, who was late by 7 minutes and didn't get fired. If you can identify a white person who was late for 7 minutes and didn't get fired, those are indicators that there was a discriminatory reason. And that is something that could be actionable. So we have to kind of get past just the baseline of unfairness and get to the point of whether or not they are treating people inconsistently.
That's good. The explanation is good.